Hello, Sofia Nadjibi with 𝐏𝐫𝐸 Lending Group in Tiburon, and I'm here today with Dara, and I know we've had quite a lot of conversations about what's going on in the market, and it seems like the spring market is really heating up.
The spring market is heating up. There's a lot more inventory coming. We're finding that right now, because Super Bowl's over, and as I said in my last video in 2019, I was saying if the parents or if families are not getting their kids into the school of choice that they want to in San Francisco, they're hightailing it either to Marin, to the East Bay, to the South Bay, and they're trying to get into those schools.
So you think really that competition is going to heat up?
Yeah, I would say
for the right homes.
For the right homes, we've got about a 3 to 4 month window where it's going to be competitive. If the house, like I said, smells right, looks good, priced right, price is the factor. The one thing I'm seeing this year in 2020 that I wasn't seeing in 2019 is that buyers are becoming much more analytical.
Great.
So
that's good.
That is good. They do have all the data points with Zillow and Redfin, and so they're doing a lot of research ahead of time, and they're seeing, so price is important. However, not to say that there's just a great house out there and it fits 5 or 10 people's needs and they all make a play at it. That's one of the things that's exciting about what you offer, the bridge loan. So it's an option. They don't need to use it, but like I said, I've used it twice last year in competitive situations, and it made my clients who had a loan look like they had cash, which that's what a bridge loan does. It gives them cash, and they closed in 10 or 15 days, and it was with no contingencies. So they were able to compete with those all cash offers. So again, it's an option if you want to look into it, and they can use you, Sofia.
Well, I mean, I always love to help, and I think that's really key, is presenting them with as many options as possible. And I think especially when we're seeing smarter buyers, like you said, buyers that are more analytical, that really not just go with the emotions. They also want to make sure that they're getting a good deal. And that they're not overpaying. And I think that that's where the bridge loan can really come in, is that it can give them the strategic advantage of being able to go in with a super, super strong offer, quick closing, no contingencies, and compete with those all cash buyers. I know you put a buyer into contract just about a week or so ago.
About 14 days ago, because we closed yesterday.
Oh, you closed yesterday? Woo! Great. So
it was really cool.
Yes, so you closed yesterday, but what was so great about your offer is that it was all cash, no contingencies, but your client was actually able to get a good deal because of your terms, because of the strength of the offer. So
what we did was, when we strategized this, we had all the inspections. Again, it's back to reputation with agents, and the listing agent, who I know, he and I, work well together, but not so much that. We were able to come in all cash, no contingencies. We also used a strategy of taking on the sewer lateral. So we had a 50-50 chance of it passing or not passing. So it came to the sewer lateral did fail, so it has to be replaced. But my client was willing to take on that project, which ended up being around 5 or 7 grand, I can't remember. So what I did was I integrated that cost into the price.
Got it.
And so when I presented the offer, the agent understood my theory and what I was doing, and then presented it. So even though we had a X price, there was another 5 to 7 grand attached to that price that my client was willing to take on. That was a huge deal. The one thing you have to learn is that I really listened to what the listing agent told me. The seller didn't want any, they wanted to just get on with their life. They bought another house. They didn't want a lot of craziness. And so they said, the listing agent said, just write an offer that we can just, if we need to counter, we'll counter you, but we don't want a lot of emotion here.
Yeah.
We just want to get it done.
Yeah.
So with that said, I went back to my client and said, what we need to do is we need to write a really clean offer if you're comfortable with all the inspections, which she was. And I said, let's take on the sewer lateral because they don't want to deal with that. Understanding their wants and needs. And let's just do a quick close. They're already out. They want to just get their money and go.
Yep.
And that's really what drove getting the price that she got on that property. Whereas the other buyer, I think there was some confrontation, maybe, I don't know the deal. But their price was way better than ours.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, they ended up going with us because there was not so much drama.
Yeah. Well, and I think that keeping things clean and getting the drama out of the transaction is so key.
Yeah.
And I think that's, in a situation like that also is when a bridge loan can be very, very helpful because you can come in with that clean slate.
Yeah.
You can offer the quick close with no contingencies and really mimic all cash, even though they don't have the cash, because we verified that the investor has the cash being able to be transferred into escrow whenever that needs to happen, but it really mimics that all cash. So it's, and having clean offers, I think, especially going into the spring market, is going to be very important, especially if you have multiple offer situations or seller that really just wants to get out.
Yeah.
So
the moral of the story is, as a buyer's agent, listen to the needs of the listing agent.
Yes.
And find out what the hot buttons are for that seller. And then try to strategically create an offer that works with their wants and needs.
Yes.
That's how you're going to win.
Yes.